All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insane Leader 13, as we are preparing to get underway for the season finale for the PTG NASCAR series hosted by PTG Speed. Potentially, though not guaranteed, potentially the last NASCAR event that PTG Speed will host on Forza. Again, no guarantee, but there is a possibility that he will be up and moving his NASCAR officiating duties to the new iRacing-based NASCAR game. No guarantee yet, but that is the possibility. And if so, this would end up being his final one to host on this game. But real quickly, I do want to go ahead and look at the race as it stands right now, how we are looking at today's event. We currently have 14 drivers for today's event, starting most notably with PTG Neb. He is in the middle of a fight with TNR Larry B, PTG Speed, and PTG Little Caesar. All four of them vying for second in points. Realistically, Larry is going to walk off with second in points unless he has some sort of disconnect or a big accident near the very end of the race, and one of those other drivers finishes way up in the podium positions. But Neb trying to close down the gap that he lost to PTG Speed. The gap is now down to just 6 points between himself and Speed coming into today's event here. I'm sorry, it's down to 5 points actually. YOLO Menace is going to make his final start of the season. YOLO Menace is trying to break into the top 10 in points. Yeah, he is 14 points out from VER TTJ 111, and assuming that he actually takes the green flag, that should be enough to vault him ahead of TJ and put him into 10th in points. PTG Houseman, who hasn't run a whole lot of races this season, but he is back here, and he is going to be running. He will likely be able to jump a bunch of spots up in the order. Thomas 086R is another driver who hasn't ran a lot of races. He started very late in the season, but he'll likely jump a bunch of positions in the points. NFL Racer is trying to secure a fight of his own. He is fighting with PTG Lucas 06 and Dietz Speeman. Those three, well, also NFL Racer does have a outside chance of catching Dino for 6 as well, but NFL is fighting with Lucas and Dietz Speeman for 7th in points. He's currently 8th right now in that ordering. PTG Little Caesar, he has won 2 races on the season. His team has won more races than any other team, and unless we end up with a bunch of extra last-minute additions with only a 14 car grid for today's event, PTG Little Caesar's team, along with SRT Shredders, they have locked up the team's championship. Lil C is going to try and overtake as many drivers as he can. He has an outside chance of finishing the season's second in points. Realistically, he is going for a 3rd place in points fight. HYR Melanie is going to be coming back. Melanie is going to try and leapfrog TFB Matter in points. Matter retired mid-season due to disaffection with the game. VER AJ5 Gamer is going to be the only VER entry in today's event. They started the season off strong, but as it's gone on, they've just not shown up often enough, and their performance has tumbled. But AJ looking to try and steal a win late in the season. Maybe Racing hasn't made a lot of starts this year, but they will be starting today's race. The IFEA team is nowhere near anyone else when it comes to the points fight, but they are still looking for something. And here we are. It looks like they're getting everything properly lined up here. Real quickly, the championship points as they stand right now. SRG Shredder locks up the championship. He has 443 points. Even though he's going to lose some points due to the mandatory drop rounds at the end of the season, he is still way clear of Larry B. Larry B has 388 points right now. PTG Speed has 384. However, he is going to drop, we are anticipating 11 points at the end of today's event. So he is currently realistically at 373 points. PTG Neb is 4th. He has 368 points. 367 on the board, but it's really 368 as he got pole position. PTG Little Caesar has 342 points in 5th. 6th place is now Prime 77 with 306 points. 7th is PTG Lucas 06 with 289. Lucas is trying to catch Dino. NFL Racer 4812 is at 286 points. He wants to try and catch Lucas and Dino. Dietz Speeman is 9th with 274 points, and then it's a big gap down. VER TTJ 111 is still at 236, but he is not running in today's race. YOLO Menace 001 with 222 points is almost guaranteed to eclipse him today. Memetsky is in 12th with 173 points. 13th is TFB Matt with 169. 14th is Athwar Melanie with 142. 15th is PTG Robo with 141. 16th is Maybe Racing with 119. 17th is Adam Man with 114. 18th is PTG Wolfpack with 104. 19th is VER AJ5 Gamer with 102. And 20th is VER Razor with 94 points. In the team's championship, the VER team is locked to dead last of the 5 with 274. Fourth place is IFEA with 344. Also leading and automatically locking up the team's championship is the PTD Little Shred team. They have 482 points. The interesting fight is going to be 2311 versus the Pendulum Tuning Garage. Both teams have had times where they led early on in the team's championship, but both of them have dribbled away performance. Right now, though, 2311 with 453 points and Pendulum Tuning Garage with 450 points. That can get really close. There are no bonus points that go into that. It is literally just finishing positions. So it will be very interesting to see which of those two teams will end up with the better scenario between the two of them. Remember, with only 14 drivers running today, we are looking at everyone guaranteed to earn 19 points just by starting the event. So the swing from maximum potential points, which is 52, down to 19, you're looking at a 33-point swing, which can be enough to swing a few positions. But again, our main focus throughout the event is going to be the fight between PTG Speed, PTG Neb, and PTG Little Caesar for third. We'll keep Larry in mind that he could lose second, but only if Larry has a disconnect or Larry ends up in a late race accident. Realistically, we think it is a three-way fight for third. And again, we will keep an eye on the fight, second in the team's championship between 2311 and the Pendulum Tuning Garage team to see how that ends up turning out. 14 drivers for today's race here. And PTG Neb stealing a pole. He's had a consistent first half of the season, but he's really come to life in the second half. If not for the derailment that happened to him late at Road America, he would legitimately be fighting for second on sheer merit. Right now, the main he is still fighting second sheer merit, but he would be a lot closer in the fight for second right now. NFL Racer with his best qualifying of the season. He's going to be starting second. Dino Prime 77 had a controller break on him, but he was able to fix something. He's going to be starting third in a very customized scheme, and your series champion, SRD Shredder, will be starting the outside of row 2 in fourth. Then you'll have PTG Speed starting in fifth, alongside PTG Little Caesar, who is Shredder's teammate. Deed Speedman is starting in seventh, and he is the highest of the 2311 drivers who will be starting in today's event. All right, so the field already doubles up. It is a very, very short pace lap here. I will be getting underway almost immediately here at Homestead, Miami. We ran over 110 laps green in the second race of the season that was here. Can we replicate that again? New tire compounds and everything, but we are underway with so many things still up to play here in the final race of the PTG NASCAR season. And Speed pushes Dino pushes Neb, and Neb gets a nice shot right out this gate. And look at SRD Shredder trying to rip right around the outside. He's gonna go, and there's already been an incident. And NFL spins in the middle of the field. He's not the only one. That's the 32 involved as well. That is Dean Speedman who's been involved. Little Caesar's been involved. And immediately the 2311 team ends up with some issues. So does NFL Racer. So does PTG Little Caesar. And Shredder ends up moving up into second position, but an accident on lap 1, a complete inversion of what we had happen in the season opener. That's very much not anticipated. We don't know if any of these drivers in the back of the grid have damage here. No signs of damage from Little Caesar for NFL Racer. No signs of damage for him either for Deed Speedman. No signs of damage, so we should be able to keep going without too much issue here. And we're not sure what's going on there. Let's see Shredder moving ahead of Neb. All right, so real quickly, I mentioned this earlier. When it comes down to the tire compound, the rate of tire fall off has changed. Fuel tank is still only about 45 laps, but the medium tires are now designed to go about 45 laps before falling off completely. The softs can go about 31 laps. So some drivers may elect to go ahead and run a very, very short set of stints to try and go for pure outright pace here. And TNR Larry B has pulled down to the apron, and we have to wonder, is he going to go ahead and make a pit stop? He is making a pit stop, and he is the only driver to do so. All right, we're going to try and knock out an ad break. We'll be back shortly here at Homestead, Miami. Well, I timed that horribly. I guess pace speed is higher than 60. That must be way higher. It must be something like 80. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Miami. We apologize for the ESPN level hiccup where he completely missed the restart here. And already, Neb has had a big twitch. He's made contacts there with Shredder. And he's got to fall down through the grid. He's got to fall all the way to 6. And there's a car rolling big time at the back of the field. That is PTG Little Caesar. For the second time this season, has had a gigantic accident in turn 4. First time it was at Sunset near the end of the race there. And now he has had a gigantic rollover accident in turn 4 here at Homestead, Miami. Every single aspect on the car is completely destroyed. There is nothing still functioning on that car, and while SRD Shredder is leading, the other member on that team is all the way down in last position with a completely obliterated car. One of the biggest accidents we have captured on TV all day or on stream all season long. TNR Larry B went from last up to 10th in that 3/4 of a lap that we did run, but we are back under the yellow flag early on here at Homestead, Miami for a gigantic accident. I really hope this is the case, that everyone's getting their wrecking out of the way early on in the event. Everyone is currently running in single file formation, but PTG Neb made a little bit of contact with SRD Shredder on the restart and plummeted back to 6th. And the drivers in the back of the field all were checking up to avoid it. And it looks like Little Caesar had nowhere to go and absolutely destroyed his car, flipping off of the turn 4 wall. Now, he is able to make it back into the pit lane. They will go ahead and repair the car. I don't imagine anyone else is going to go ahead and pit. Of note, though, PTG Speed here, he is going to be one of the drivers running a full fuel tank, and he is likely on medium tires, but SRD Shredder, who's leading right now, he has less fuel in the tank, and his tires have a lot more wear. The drivers with less fuel in the tank and a lot more wear are likely going to be drivers running on the soft tire compounds. They're looking to go about 30 to 31 laps on a stint. They're hoping that there are a lot of yellows to keep the field bunched up, and during the constant numbers of restarts, they can use their runs on the soft tires to just absolutely blitz everyone. The other drivers who are on the similar strategy, well, the other big example is Maybe Racing, and here comes some drivers into the pits now. Larry B's pitting, Deeds Feeman is pitting, HYR Melanie. All these drivers are pitting right now under this early yellow flag here at Homestead, Miami. So several drivers in the mid to rear of the grid knocking out a pit stop right now. Little Caesar has repaired his car. He's ripping around the track trying to catch back up to the field. He is also going to be one of the drivers, I imagine, on the soft tire strategy here. And he will overtake the drivers who just pitted, I would imagine. So he'll likely get 11th place back. And he smacks the outside wall. Not really sure what happened there. But we should be going green this time, as the entire field is basically all gathered up now. And yep, we are gathering up. So it's going to be SRD Shredder on the inside, PTG Speed on the outside, with Dino Prime, who has ran 3rd basically since the start of this race, and then PTG Houseman, who has climbed his way up into 4th. Maybe Racing and PTG Neb will share row 3. So Shredder was really good restarting on the outside. What can he do when he restarts here on the inside lane, as they come down for the restart on lap 9 here at Homestead, Miami? Melanie got a good jump at the back of the grid there, and PTG Neb immediately goes to the extreme high side. He does not want to be in the middle of a big pack car. Yellow Menace trying to make it 4 wide near the back of the grid, and Speed cannot make anything happen on the outside line. SRD Shredder goes to the lead. Dino Prime trying to follow him on the inside line. Dino versus Speed, drivers who have known each other for quite literally years, going back to Forza Motorsport 6, trying to make something happen, and Speed continues to bleed off time now. He's now fallen down, way down the order. There's two cars in the wall farther back. One of them is Dean Speedman. No, one of them is Houseman, and the other looks like it's Thomas 086R. And that is another car that has been completely destroyed here at Homestead, Miami early on in the event, and that will likely put us back under the yellow flag again. So a complete inversion in the season, in the second race of the season, which was also at Miami. Tire compounds were different. Also, the track was really sunny, and we had a green flag run that lasted over 110 laps from the start of the race. But now, here at this point of the event, we are looking at a scenario where we can't even go 2 laps under green right now. And a bunch of drivers are all going to go ahead and jump down pit lane here. We got Dino Prime coming in the pit, PTG Speed coming in the pit, NFL Racer coming in the pit, HYR Melanie's going to pit, TNR Larry B's going to pit again, Dean Speedman will pit, Thomas 086R will pit, and PTG Houseman will pit. So there's only going to be a few drivers staying out on track. SRD Shredder is one of them. Maybe Racing is going to stay out. VERAJ5 Gamer now cycles up to 3rd as he stays out. PTG Little Caesar stays out. He moves up to 4th. PTG Neb stays out. He'll be in 5th. And Yellow Menace is going to move up to the 6th position. But everyone behind is going to be on new tires and new fuel. And the interesting thing, I have to wonder, how many of these drivers just put on another set of medium tires? How many of them have put on sets of soft tires? Theoretically, with the pit stop, with the fuel tank lasting about 45 laps, you do the math, 45 and 45 is 90, 45, 45, if you do 90 and 90, so that'd be 4 cents on the mediums, that would get you to 180, so realistically, this is a 3-stop race. If you can figure out a way to make it 3 cents on mediums and 1 cent on softs, so that is why I imagine a lot of the drivers are going to try to do, if at all possible. I imagine most of the field will run. Oh, are we going to have a single file restart this time? Well, everyone's gathered up, rim right around the outside roll, so it looks like we are going to be doing a single file restart this time by. As they come down to the start-finish line. Shredder, and maybe lead them to the green. Yellow Menace, way back here in 6th. He's going to be the metric that all these other drivers are going to have to pass because he's on old tires. He misses the corner and Blitz is way out. The ideal racing line is going to fall down the grid there. That's not going to help him. Maybe Racing is now already under threat from PTG Little Caesar. And it looks like in about 10 laps, we'll see Little Caesar go from being on his roof to maybe going to the lead as Shredder has missed turn 3. He's into the outside wall. Little Caesar goes to the lead. Shredder is going to lose 2, 3, 4 positions as he plummets down the order. He's going to fall all the way down to 4th. Might even lose that there. It's going to be 3 wide against him as they go diving into turn 1. Shredder trying to make the outside line work. He's got Dino Prime on his inside. He's got NFL Racer just ahead of him. IFEA is putting on a good showing right now, running 2nd and 3rd on track. Here comes Maybe Racing trying to make it some work on the outside of Little Caesar now. Dives to the inside as they come out turn number 4. Little Caesar very nearly slaps the outside wall. Larry B has fallen to last on track. That's not going to help him in his fight to maintain 2nd in the championship here. And the entirety of the top 5 all bunched up right on top of each other. Maybe Racing trying to keep Little Caesar tucked up behind. Little Caesar's going to dive to the inside. He's got NFL Racer now pushing him. Shredder has stabilized into 4th position, is now trying to fight back once again. Around the inside is Little Caesar. He's going to wash a little high. Maybe is right there. Here comes NFL. He's going to try and make it 3 wide here as they come down the start-finish line straight. 3 wide across the line. Maybe just barely leads at the line. Little Caesar continues to rim ride around the inside. Here comes SRD Shredder to the inside. There's no room. Maybe Racing fires out of the corner like a cannon. He's going to open up a bit of a lead. Now NFL Racer is side by side with Little Caesar as they go down the straightaway. Side by side as they fire off down to turn number 3 here. And it looks like Little Caesar should have the position. No, he slips a little bit wide. He gives the inside lane up to SRD Shredder. Now Shredder's going to come on the inside. There's a car sliding out of control further back in the grid. I think that's Houseman. NFL Racer and Maybe Racing now running 1-2. This is the best performance we have seen from the IFEA team all season long. We think that both these drivers are running low fuel loads on soft tire compounds right now, and Houseman has had another gigantic spin farther back in the field. He might not be the only one. I think Dean Speedman has been involved in something as well. Yeah, and Houseman's car is absolutely destroyed right now. But we're staying green for the moment. as IFEA drivers run side by side, door to door. Maybe drifts high. NFL pulls up alongside, tries to put a little bit of a side draft on the left rear corner of that number 3 car. Here comes the 10, your champion, SRD Shredder. He looks to the inside, looks to the outside, but there's just no room anywhere. And Shredder doesn't get down fast. He's going to be passed by his teammate, Little Caesar. And they maybe walked high, and now here comes Shredder. He dives to the inside. He's alongside, side by side for second position. Now he's going to come alongside, side by side for first as they dive in to turn number 1. The number 10 goes into the lead. There's a little bit of contact. The 10 goes wide. That number 53 goes wide. Maybe Racing's going to come flying back on the inside. Maybe goes from first to third to first, all in a span of about a lap and a half, as the top 6 are all running on top of each other like it's a big blanket here. Riding on board with AJ, who is last in this 6-car pack at the head of the field, and then there's another pack a little bit farther back, but this is the one to watch right now. NFL Racer went deep, misses the apex coming out of turn number 2. Maybe he's going to get to his inside. Maybe he goes back to the lead. Here comes SRD Shredder on the inside line. Now we seem to have finally gotten a little bit of a nice long green flag run going here. We're going to start seeing tire fall have a big impact relatively soon here. And the IFEA drivers, who we think are riding on soft tires, are likely going to have to pit sooner rather than later because they will be dealing with tire fall. But SRD Shredder continues to hold station in second place as he runs right behind Maybe Racing on circuit at the moment. So Maybe holding station in the lead. Shredder second, NFL Racer third, PTG, Little Caesar fourth. Dino is fifth now, and AJ starting to lose touch with the top 5 at this stage of the event. Not to mention, these drivers are going to be coming up on traffic in a bit. D-Speed and Houseman had that accident, but there was no yellow flag thrown. We're not sure if it was Speed saying, okay, mandate, you have to run 5 laps into green before the next yellow, or if it just didn't get called out. But either way, those 2 drivers after the accident have now been trapped a lap down and maybe at risk of going 2 laps down, depending on how the rest of this goes. Yeah, for the 2311 team, this is not looking good. They have 2 entrants running today. They have TNR Larry B and Deed Speedman. Larry B is buried in 11th place, but he's still on the lead lap. Deed Speedman is buried in 13th place, a lap down at the moment. Dino Prime has a huge run. He's going to rim right the outsides. He tries to go to the outside. Little Caesar. Little Caesar makes a little bit of contact. Dino has to back out. They're all going to be single file once more as they come into the turns 1 and 2 here. But right now, it is Maybe Racing, SRD Shredder, and NFL Racer. Now NFL goes back to the inside of the 10. He's got a big run. He's got to try and go to the inside of his teammate in the number 3. Side by side between teammates as they rip right around turns 3 and 4. And there's a little bit of contact and Maybe goes to the outside wall. NFL went deep into the corner and there was contact and Maybe washed out into the outside wall in the process. No damage, but he has lost touch with the lead group, and he's going to fall all the way back to 7th position behind Thomas. So now SRD Shredder leads with Little Caesar in 2nd, and Dino Prime running just a little bit farther back in 3rd. NFL Racer is now slipped back to 4th. You have to wonder, are they running the soft tires? Are the soft tires falling off? They're at 23% wear right now for NFL Racer. For Dino Prime, he is currently running at 22% wear, but he has a lot more fuel in the tank. I have a feeling that is the case exactly. There is starting to be a little bit of tire fall off for the IFEA drivers. All right, SRD Shredder still leads. We think he also may be on a set of soft tires right now. He is at 31% wear with 44% still in the fuel tank right now. Just about nose it down. Now Dino looks to the inside of PTG Little Caesar. Can't make the move stick. And now AJ seems to be slowly closing back in on this 4-way fight at the front. Shredder holding on to the lead. Now his teammate Little Caesar goes diving to the inside again. Dino trapped on the outside. It's going to let Little Caesar by. It's going to let NFL Racer get alongside. 77 and 53. Drag Racing for 3rd position down the back straightaway. And now they fire off into turn number 3 once again. Little Caesar holding a tighter inside line, trying to close back in on SRD Shredder. NFL again under threat now from Dino Prime. And here comes AJ. He is slowly closing in on this fight, but it looks like a bit of a repeat as to what we saw back at the Indianapolis oval race earlier in the season. It was Shredder and Little Caesar blitzing away from the field there. We are seeing a little bit of a repeat of that right now here at Miami. And SRD Shredder has said, look, I'm very happy with running NASCARs at Miami. He feels that if there's a long green run to the end, he has the best balance of tire management and tire strategy that he can win in that scenario. Little Caesar a little bit more up in the air, but Caesar has been on or better than Shredder since the midpoint of the season. We could very easily see our championship winning team finishing 1-2 depending on how this rest of this race goes. NFL Racer has now fallen behind Dino on track, and again we look at the tire life 30% for NFL Racer. For Dino, who is running just ahead of him on track, he is at 29%. So the numbers are starting to go in Dino's favor, but not rapidly enough, not quickly enough. And that is Houseman, who has gone around there on the front straightaway, coming out of turn 4 again. No damage to the car, so he should be able to continue, and I think we'll be able to stay under green flag conditions here. But frustrated for Houseman, he is now going to get trapped 2 laps down here at Homestead, Miami. TNR Larry B hangs out in 11th still, but his rivals in the points fight, PTG Speed, runs only 1 spot ahead, and PTG Neb is only about 3 spots ahead. So as it stands right now, Larry would still maintain his position of 2nd in the points fight. Little Caesar running 2nd is kind of the outsider here if Little Caesar ends up winning, and PTG Houseman has left the group, it seems. We're going to try and reach out to Houseman, see if he wants to give an interview or anything. But considering how evil that car seemed to be for him, I can't say I'm surprised. And now Little Caesar dives to the inside Shredder, and he powers by with no issue whatsoever. Now Shredder's gonna come back for the crossover on corner exit. Drag race between teammates, and at the line, it's still Shredder who leads. Dino Prime runs in 3rd position. NFL goes to Dino's inside. He wants to get 3rd from the number 77. There's a top 4 all continue to run right on top of each other here at this stage of the race. Shredder leads. Here comes Little Caesar back to the inside of that number 10 car. Neck and neck as they go down in turn 3. Shredder has the wide outside line. He's going to fall back in line behind Little Caesar and do the crossover again. It's the same repeat of what we saw in the prior lap. Little Caesar is going to be trapped on the outside. Shredder leads again at the line. Dino still runs in 3rd. He's able to keep up with these two, but he doesn't seem to be actively making moves against the 2 of them right now. We look at the tire life of Shredder and Caesar. Shredder is at 43% wear right now. Little Caesar is at 42% wear right now. And Shredder is washing wide. He washes into the outside wall. It's going to back up. Dino Prime in the process. And NFL Racer is going to go by. Maybe Racing is going to pit now out of the midfield. So we are now in the middle of green flag pit stop cycles here. So now Little Caesar leads. NFL Racer is in 2nd. Now he dives to the inside. He wants to lead. He's going to scoop by PTG Little Caesar. Try to squeeze that number 32 up the track. 53 versus 32 as they come onto the front straightaway here. Shredder and Dino fighting side by side just behind. It is 2 by 2 almost as they go down into turn number 1 again. Again, NFL washes wide. It's going to squeeze Little Caesar on the extreme outside line. Both of these drivers bleed off a bunch of time. And now here comes Dino in that number 77. Meanwhile, all 4 of these drivers are about to catch, I believe that is Yolo Minutes, who is running just ahead of them. No, that is not. That is Deep Speedman they're about to catch to try and put 2 laps down here. But now you see NFL Racer goes out into the lead of the race. No, it says Little Caesar was leading at the line apparently. But now they're going to have to navigate a bit of traffic here while all of their tires continue to fall off faster and faster as this is going on. Shredder slaps the outside wall further back. Is going to drag his speed down. Here comes NFL back to the inside. NFL's going to dive into the pits. So NFL Racer wants to pit. Little Caesar's going to stay out for a little longer as he has to try and navigate traffic in the form of Dean Speedman. Here comes Dino Prime. Here comes SRD Shredder. Side by side and at the line, it was Dino who led at the line that time. Dino outside, Little Caesar on the inside, SRD Shredder was right behind, and there was just a bit of contact there. Little Caesar backs out of it a bit, that's going to give the lead over to Dino Prime 77. Dino ran no practice, he has a busted controller that he barely got repaired for this race, and he's out here leading here before a first round of green flag pit stops at Homestead Miami Speedway. Teammates again go side by side through turns 3 and 4 as they come down to the line. It is going to be Little Caesar who barely holds on to 2nd place right now. Dino is just ahead of them and now starting to open the gap a little bit. You look at Dino's tire wear, he's only at 44.7% right now. You look at Little Caesar and SRD Shredder. Caesar is at 51%. SRD Shredder, his tire life is at 52%. So yes, Dino is doing a little bit better when it comes to managing the tires right now, and he's using that to scoot away from Little Caesar and SRD Shredder at this point in the event. Next driver that these 3 are going to come up to will be Yolo Mess, and they'll be trying to put him a lap down. Maybe Racing has got to be kicking himself having run on soft tires, but already burnt them up and having not pitted since the start. So he's gone about as far as the soft tires will go. SRD Shredder is going to be in a similar position, I would imagine. Here comes Little Caesar, goes back to the inside of Dino Prime. Caesar is not done. His tires might be burning up, but he still is getting very, very punchy out here on track. It's going to be a drag race again between these two at the line. I think it was Caesar. The ticker says it was Caesar at the line. Inside line is keen around here, but if those tires don't have the grip, you're going to miss the corner entry or miss the corner exit. It's just how it goes here around Miami. Dino goes back into the front of that number 32 car. That's SRD Shredder. He's going to now pit out of the third position. So all those drivers who had pitted under that series of early yellow flags, if they put on the medium tires, they're going to be able to stay out and run a bunch of laps here in nice, clean air, potentially. Little Caesar continues to run right behind Dino. Dino's going to go the long way around Yellow Menace. Yellow Menace ends up washing high in the corners. That gives Caesar a perfect run on the inside. He's going to be able to just barely sniff Dino's draft here. But again, the big problem is tire life. Look at how bad Caesar's tires have fallen off. 57.7% now. You look at Dino on the other hoof. He is running with 51%. He could probably stay out on track for another 3 or 4 laps longer. And meanwhile, through all of this, who has moved up into third position? It is Thomas, who's had an instant. He has slid off circuit here as he was trying to come into the pits. That might result in a post-race penalty, but he didn't end up causing an incident, didn't hit anything. I don't even think he ended up on track, so he should be fine and be able to continue here. And that's going to be the other thing for all these drivers who are staying out on track, but they will eventually have to pit. You're going to have to be ready to hit your marks, and with tires that are burnt up, you have to be careful not to wash out of the pit lane entrance line and come sideways onto the track. When we had that 110-lap run under green flag conditions in the Miami race here earlier in the season, it ended when our top 2 drivers both missed the pit lane entry on their final pit stop, and they both went off track and crashed into each other on the racing circuit. And now the lights have come on. We are now going from daytime to evening time here at Homestead Miami Speedway. And at this stage of the race, right now, only the top 7 drivers are still on the lead lap, and Dino is about to come down and try to put PTG Little Caesar a lap down. Meanwhile, PTG Neb and VER AJ Gamer are having a bit of a fight. AJ's going to miss pit lane entrance as well. He doesn't hit anything, but he's going to lose a lot of time in the process. So now your pole sitter, PTG Neb, has cycled back up into second position, and a little bit farther back is going to be HYR Melody, who is now going to be up into the third spot. PTG Speed is going to be up in fourth. Larry B is going to be in fifth, as Larry has pitted under every single yellow flag thus far in the event. So now, Dino leads, and we have seen only the top 5 drivers stay on the lead lap up to this point of the event. AJ is now going to plummet down the grid of everyone who has pitted thus far. It is currently NFL Racer, who is stationed just a bit ahead of PTG Little Caesar and just a little bit ahead of SRD Shredder as well. Pitting early does seem to get you quite a bit of track position, but you're going to be at a tire disadvantage going forward, so keep an eye on that. How much ground is NFL going to lose as the event continues to run here? Dino continues to run out at the head of the field right now. He is doing a good job just managing his tires, but he is at 59%. He's going to have to pit sooner rather than later, and when he pits, the lead will likely go to this man here, PTG Neb, who still has, he doesn't have as much fuel as Dino does, but his tires have quite a bit of life still left in them. And then a little bit farther back from that would be PTG Speed, who is in a similar position. So I think Dino may have put on soft tires when he made his pit stop under the last yellow flag, but PTG Neb and PTG Speed, I believe that they have put on medium tires, trying to bet on a really long green flag run. Unless there's a yellow flag that comes now, it looks like that bet's going to pay off here. Also, when Dino pits, it's going to put a bunch of drivers like NFL Racer, PTG Little Caesar, SRD Shredder, and Yellow Menace all back onto the lead lap. So do keep that in mind. We could end up with a scenario where suddenly the leader pits, a bunch of drivers who we thought were kind of out of it will suddenly get back on the lead lap. Maybe racing is getting really aggressive here, and HYR Melanie is making what I believe is their second stop thus far. No damage on the car. They've just pushed the tires a bit too far now. So only 4 drivers still run on the lead lap at this stage of the event. And outside of Dino, who is leading, everyone is on what we believe is medium tires, and they'll have slower lap times, but they're going to be able to stay on track longer. Here comes Dino into the pits now, so we will likely see PTG Neb inherit the race lead momentarily here. He is well ahead of PTG Speed by about 9 seconds, and then PTG Speed and TNR Larry B are fighting. Remember, PTG Speed and Larry B are fighting for what would be second in overall championship points. Speed outscored Larry last week, or 2 weeks ago technically, at Road America, has put himself close enough to Larry that if Larry has a bad finish, a bad day here, Speed might still be able to steal second in points. The other driver that Speed has to worry about, though, is still PTG Neb, and Neb has a gigantic lead on him at this stage of the race of about 8 seconds. Also, with Dino having pitted, NFL Racer is now back on the lead lap. Shredder is back on the lead lap. PTG Little Caesar is back on the lead lap. And Yellow Miss has also briefly got back onto the lead lap. Dino has just now got back onto the circuit, putting back onto full throttle. So Dino went much, much deeper on those soft tires than everyone else. So he's kind of in a weird no man's land. He didn't run that most recent stint on the medium tires. He ran it on softs, but we don't know what he's going to be on now, as PTG Speed and TNR Larry B are closing in for a fight on each other. We're going to go ahead and knock out a Twitch mandated ad break while things are spurred out. When we come back, we're anticipating to see our leaders make their rounds under the green flag pit stop cycles. We'll be back momentarily here at Homestead Miami Speedway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Homestead Miami Speedway for the season finale for the PTG NASCAR Series. The Drivers' Championship and Teams' Championship are resolved, but second in points in both Teams and Drivers' Championship are still up for play. Right now, we are in the middle of a long green flag run, and we are anticipating to see our top three drivers pitting at nearly any lap right now. PTG Neb leads, and he is coming into the pits this time. Can he make it into the pits? Can he actually hit the pit lane entrance? Boy, is he sideways, but I think he's going to make it. But my goodness, did he play it loose and tight? Loose and tight? Yeah, I'm going to say loose and tight. But with Neb pitting, now the lead of the race will cycle over to PTG Speed. And mind you, with PTG Neb, he had not pitted for the entire first 53 laps of the event. Those were the same tires he started the race on. PTG Neb has shown to be a master of saving tires on those medium tire compounds. People are saying, oh, the mediums will only last about 45 laps. He went 53 laps. Now, yeah, we had some laps under yellow early on that helped, but he went 53 laps on those tires. That is incredible. Also with PTG Neb pitting, that's going to see maybe Racing go back onto the lead lap and Thomas 086R go back on the lead lap. And now it is PTG Speed, the driver who won the season opener. It's been a season of up and downs, but he is still in contention for second in the points, and he would love to be able to bookmark his season or bookend his season with wins on both ends of the championship. Again, this is anticipated to be the last NASCAR race that PTG Speed will host in this series. He has been hosting NASCAR leagues going all the way back to the start of 2018, early on in Forza Motorsport 7's lifetime, and he was hosting one-off NASCAR races way back in late 2017 on Forza Motorsport 6 before Motorsport 7 even dropped. It has been a long career. It's not a guarantee that he's done, but it is a possibility that he has done. He said that all is going to come down to how well the upcoming iRacing console NASCAR game will be. If it ends up being good, he says he'll likely abandon running NASCAR series in this game and focus on running NASCAR series in that instead. But right now, he has maintained a 2-second gap over TNR Larry B. Here's the interesting thing, though. NFL Racer, who has already made his first round of stops under the green flag stops, and now we're under a long green flag run. He is closing into the drivers ahead, but he is burning up his tires. He is he has pitted way behind everyone else, but he is at a tire disadvantage, and now PTG Speed has gone ahead and pitted this time. Here's SRD Shredder. He's only at 31% tire wear right now. And Lil Caesar, his teammate, who runs just a little bit behind, he is at 30.5%. So Caesar pitted is doing a little bit better. Not massively, but a little bit better at tire saving than Shredder is. And then you have to go another 6 seconds back to Dino. Dino, who went really, really long on that stint of soft tires, as he pitted just as the field went back to, right before the field went back to green on the most recent yellow flag. We had a lot of yellows in the first 12 laps. We have been running nice, high fly, handsome, and clean ever since then. And we are looking at a very bizarre race of pit stop strategies right now. Our top 10 drivers are all still on the lead lap, although we might see Speed go a lap down here to Larry, just briefly, because Larry's going to come into the pits this time. And that will cycle NFL Racer back into, oh, and Larry is sideways. Larry's going to keep it just barely on the track. He won't hit anything, but he's going to bleed up a massive amount of time with that slide off. And again, there is a possibility there will be a post-race penalty for doing something like that. We're betting that's not going to happen if it doesn't actually cause an issue, but Larry is going to lose a humongous amount of time in the process, and now the leader goes back to being NFL Racer 4812, but not for long. Here comes SRD Shredder to the inside. They door ban as they go into turns number 3 and 4, and Shredder blows by the number 53 like he's not even there pretty much. But now the draft is back in the NFL drivers' favor, and there is PTG Speed, who's just ahead. Speed backs off just a little bit. He lets the leaders go. I think Speed realizes he's on a radically different strategy. He can let the two of them fight. He's just trying to stay out and minimize his pit stops. NFL Racer, I think, has pushed his tires a little bit too far, as Shredder has absolutely disposed of him. Not to mention NFL Racer is almost out of fuel right now. So NFL Racer led, but so it was Speed leading, but then he pitted, and it was Larry who led, but only for a lap, and then Larry pitted, and that was NFL, but he led only for a lap before his tires fell off. Now it goes back to SRD Shredder, who is leading. Again, if we have a long green flag run to the end, we have seen in these NASCAR races before that SRD Shredder is incredibly good at making tire strategy and tire life last on long green flag runs here at Miami. If we continue to run under green flag conditions to the end of the race, SRD Shredder is going to be just about impossible to beat here. So now PTG Speed is a lap down, so right now only our top 8 drivers run on the lead lap. VER AJ5 Gamer is the first driver, or the last driver on the lead lap, but he has a bit of a tire advantage over SRD Shredder. As long as his pace isn't completely gone, he should be able to stay on the lead lap for a little bit longer before SRD Shredder catches him. I say that, it does not look good. And there goes NFL Racer as he finally jumps off the circuit. He's going to come down pit lane. He needs to be careful not to slide off circuit here. Now, it looks like he was a little bit conservative, but honestly, conservative is better than being aggressive and losing a bunch of time by sliding off into the dirt. So this will likely cycle Dino Prime up into 3rd position right now. So it is SRD Shredder and PTG Lil Caesar, teammates. Both of them have won 2 races on the season. Shredder has won at 2 ovals. Lil Caesar has won on 2 road courses. They've locked up the championship. Lil Caesar is in the middle of a 4-way fight for what could be 2nd in the points, but realistically we are expecting it to be a fight for 3rd in the points for him. PTG Speed has rimroad the wall there, going through turn 4 that time by, as he is now stuck behind NFL Racer. Now he'll get back by NFL, as NFL has just come out of the pits, but NFL will have a tire advantage for the next few laps here. So I imagine a lot of these drivers are going to be putting on medium tires, expecting that once you're already under a long green flag run, you're going to stay under a long green flag run. And under green flag conditions, you want to minimize the amount of time you're spending on pit lane. So SRD Shredder leads. PTG Lil Caesar is 2nd. Dino Prime 77 is about 10 seconds off in 3rd. And then Maybe Racing is currently running in 4th position on a wild strategy of their own. They're at 39% tire wear. Compare that to Dino, who is 9 seconds up the road right now. Dino is at 22% tire wear, so it's very obvious that maybe we'll have to pit sooner than Dino here. You look at Little Caesar and SRD Shredder. Caesar is at 46% tire wear. SRD Shredder, who is leading right now, he is at 47% tire wear. So I feel that Shredder, Little Caesar, and maybe all might, no guarantee, but they might be running on a softer tire compound right now. Dino's likely running on the harder compound, trying to just open up his gap on the rest of the field, try to trap as many drivers a lap or multiple laps down as possible here. About 100 laps left to go here at the race. After a series of early yellow flags, this event is flying by now. If we're running at about a rate of about 2 laps a minute on average, we could be done with this by about 5:30 my time or 7:30 Eastern time. These drivers are absolutely flying. Again, we saw that in the Miami race earlier in the season. We had a 110 lap green flag run early in the event. I think the number was actually closer to 115, but our leaders had an accident trying to come to the pit stop under the last set of yellow, under the last set of pit stops. And in that yellow, we ended up bunching up the field, had several more yellows, and extended the race length a little bit. But this is flying by right now. So in this moment of peace, we're going to go ahead and knock out another Twitch-mandated ad break. We'll be back shortly here at Homestead, Miami, hopefully to see our leaders make their next round of stops. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Homestead Miami Speedway. Your new leader, or returning leader, is Dino Prime, as just a little bit after we went to break, SRD Shredder and Little Caesar both pitted at the exact same time. Right now, we have 10 drivers on the lead lap, with Larry B in 10th right now, fighting to stay on the lead lap. It may be racing runs second, about 9 seconds off of Dino, but we are anticipating that maybe we'll have to pit in the next 5 or so laps. PTG Neb is a lot farther back, reigning in 3rd position right now. When it comes to the fight for second in the team's championship between the 2311 team and the Pendulum Tuning Garage team, PTG Neb runs in 3rd, and PTG Speed is way down in 9th, while and that's for the Pendulum Tuning Garage team. For the 2311 team, you have Deed Speedman running last, 2 laps down, 13th, and TNR Larry B running 10th, just barely holding on to the lead lap right now. So it looks like there's a possibility, not a guarantee, but a possibility that we could see the Pendulum Tuning Garage clip 2311 for second in the team's championship. When it comes to drivers' championship for that fight for second in points overall, while Larry is way down the grid in 10th, but Neb is only in 3rd right now. Neb would need to be up another position or two to be able to really knock Larry out of second. If you're ignoring Larry and you're just looking at the fight for 3rd, Neb is looking good right now, but Little Caesar is on an alternate strategy. Speed is on an alternate strategy. Now, Speed has not really had the pace, and that might be the thing that takes him out of it, but Little Caesar has had legitimate pace, and he's on an alternate strategy compared to Neb, so the positioning between Neb and Caesar could go in either direction. But I do think as it stands right now, Larry would just barely eke out second in the championship over PTG Neb, and we would see Little Caesar get right behind Neb in the championship points, but likely not be able to overtake him. There is a fight going on between Dino and Lucas, but as Lucas is not running today, Dino's basically guaranteed to lock up 6th position unless something absolutely wild happens, and like a disqualification post-race, and I just don't see that happening here. And that is Thomas 086R, who is hanging out here in 4th position. We've seen Thomas running in the FEC IndyCar series that ended last weekend, and he has ran the last handful of races in this series. Thomas has been a fun one to watch, and he has been having a abnormally strong time today here at Miami. He is looking very strong, as we are looking at about 90 laps left in the event right now. And he is fighting it out with PTG Neb for 3rd on track. Shockingly, this driver, Maybe Racing, has not yet come into the pits. Although he is almost out of fuel, will likely come into the pits next time by. But he is running his fuel numbers as tight as possible. Oh no, he comes in late. That was a late commitment to pit in, and he's into the dirt, and there goes Maybe into the dirt. He's gonna bleed off a bunch of time in the process. It's not as bad as some of the other slide-offs, but that was very much unideal. So Neb now moves into 2nd, and Thomas is gonna move into 3rd, and they are both 11 seconds out from Dino Prime, who's currently your leader, who is trying to run an alternate strategy, run a bunch of medium tires, stints, make the stints last really long to try and catch as many drivers a lap down as possible here. Right now, though, those numbers haven't really worked out. He's been watching TNR Larry be on track for about the last dozen or so laps, but he's not really close on him. Thing is, though, that almost everyone has been pitting sooner and more often than Dino has, and Dino is coming into the pits way earlier than anticipated. What is the reasoning for this? He's coming to the pits a lot earlier than anticipated. He still had probably another 10 laps he could stay on track, but he's pitting now with a little less than 90 laps left. My guess is that he's pitting now. We'll throw on a set of medium tires, go about 45 laps, then put on another set of medium tires and go another 45 laps. I would have rather stayed out for a little bit longer if I thought I could make it stick, but Dino is kind of offsetting his strategy a bit, so now it is PTG Neb and Thomas 086R who go to the lead here at Miami, running not quite nose to tail here for the lead. PTG Neb is your pole sitter. Thomas did not qualify anywhere near the front, but he has been really, really punchy in this middle stage of the race. We are almost, not quite, but we are almost halfway through the run. We had 3 yellow flags early in the event, including one where PTG Little Caesar had a gigantic flip in turn number 4, but after a single file restart on, I think it was lap 12 or 13, we have stayed green every lap since. Neb leads. Thomas 086R runs right behind him in 2nd. In the tire war between these two, Neb is at 35% tires, 38% fuel. Thomas is at, well, he's pitting now. He's at 10% fuel, and he's at 50% tires, and he misses pit lane in. Boy, did he miss pit lane in. He very nearly hit SRD Shredder in the process. That, if anyone's going to get a penalty for missing pit lane in, Thomas will likely get a penalty for that one there, and SRD Shredder has got to feel so lucky knowing that he avoided that. The SRD Shredder now is in 2nd place on track here. 2 seconds off from PTG Neb. And he can go a little longer. I think Shredder has aborted running the softer tires. He is now on mediums. Likely baying that we're going to have a long green flag run. This long green flag run go to the end of the race here. So this will put Thomas a lap down. He'll join HBR Melanie and Yellow Miss as being a lap down. Larry has gradually been finding his way up the grid. He is now up to 7th. So general pace under the green flag conditions are working out in Larry's favor. So while Deed Speeman, the team leader, has just kind of been nowhere. He was involved in an accident right off the final restart, but no yellow was called. While Deed has been nowhere, Larry is trying to put the entire team on his back and fight up the order right now. The driver ahead of him is PTG Speed, and the driver leading is PTG Neb. Larry is about 6 seconds on track behind Speed, but positioning-wise, Larry is solidifying his likelihood to walk home today, guaranteed second in points. I do think the fight's going to end up being for third between Neb and Speed, and then maybe Shredder and Little Caesar. But even then, Shredder has gradually been gapping Little Caesar more and more as these runs have been going on, and Shredder is starting to run PTG Neb down on track. We are past the halfway point of the race now. Just a little bit past it, but we are past the halfway point. Larry is now under threat from Dino, and Dino, who had pitted just a few laps ago, is going to blow by Larry as if he's standing still. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. If Dino's on softer tires, no, he has enough fuel. He's probably on a medium set of tires to go nice and long again. My guess is that Dino is setting himself up to only need to make one more stop to the end of this race here. Everyone else, I don't know about their ability to make it to the end on only one more stop. Thing is that right now, Dino is about 3/4 of a lap behind our leader, PTG Neb. And if Neb and /or Shredder really up their pace in the last bit, Dino might be able to make it to the end on one more stop. If these drivers pick up the pace, they could potentially run him down at the very end and steal the win from him on sheer pace. Doesn't matter how good your strategy is. If someone else's pace is that good, they can run the dumbest strategies you can think of and still run off with the win here. Shredder has now walked by Neb as if Neb is basically standing still. Neb still has some fuel and life in the tires. It's nothing compared to what Shredder has, and that's another driver coming into the pits. That is AJ, who is now going to duck into the pits. So shockingly, despite it being on this really long green flag run, a lot of the drivers who are in the lead keep cycling out between different kinds of strategies. I think a lot of them are running harder tires, or alternating between softer tires and harder tires. So for the most part, we're looking at about the same 8 to 10 drivers staying on the lead lap for the majority of the time. Here comes YOLO Menace into the pits this time by. Can YOLO stay on the pit lane? That wasn't YOLO. Who was that? Was that Melanie? It is Melanie. I apologize for getting the two of them confused, but Melanie will be able to stay on track there. So about 77 laps left here at Homestead, Miami. For SRD Shredder, the question is, how much longer can he go? When he makes a stop, he'll only need one more stop to the end, but I have to wonder, is Shredder going to try and push his final stop out a ways so he can throw on a set of soft tires near the end of the race and use that to try and run down the likes of Dino here on track? Dino, we think, is just going to run medium to the end because he only has one more stop left. According to our calculations, Shredder still has 2 more stops left. He's got good track position over Dino, though, and there's a possibility I could see Shredder going medium soft if we stay green to the end. Similar, but not the same case for PTG Neb, who is just bleeding off time right now. He has really burnt off that right front, but I do think that if Neb just sticks with it for long enough, you add the numbers together, 45 plus 31, that's 71 laps. If Neb is able to go to about lap 100, somewhere between 95 and 100, and then make a stop, then you can probably throw on a set of medium tires, run those to the end, and then throw on a set of softs to the end here. So I'm looking at PTG Neb and SRD Shredder on a similar strategy, but I think Shredder is a bit better off than Neb on a medium soft to the end. And Dino Prime 77, who is back there in 6th, he only has one more stop. The first driver, or the highest driver, who only has one stop left by my calculations, but he is going to be running a medium strategy to the end of the race here. Big thing is that Shredder is very slowly opening the gap between himself and Dino on track here. Dino's won at Daytona before. He's won at Miami. He has not won at Indy, but he has won at Miami and Daytona before. He is another Florida native, although he comes closer to the western parts of Florida rather than the more thought about parts around Miami or Orlando. But this is one of his 2 home circuits, and frankly, between the 3 Florida tracks in the game here, Sunset and Daytona, while his home track would arguably end up being Sunset, you could really just give him any of the 3 and he would be fine with that. Dino has not been happy with his performance over the season. Over the road courses, which have been open tuning, he has not been hooked up to the PTG drivers' tuning sessions, so he is frequently 2 to 3 seconds off pace because he is not up to date with all the latest hacks and code breaks and stuff like that you will see in the events. Oh, and PTG Neb has fallen behind NFL Racer, and here comes Little Caesar. So now we have a 3-way fight for second position that is unfolding on track now. Neb a little high, Caesar trying to get to his inside. It's incredible how deep we are into this green flag run, and we still have active positions fighting. They're all on similar-ish strategies, and they're all actively fighting for spots. This is one of the best things about these cars, is that even with a long green flag run, you can still have good fights, unlike the old Gen 4 cars. One of the reasons I do like the Gen 7s. And here comes NFL Racer into the pits a little sooner than anticipated, but NFL Racer could potentially go to the end on one set of mediums and one set of softs to the end of the race. Here comes Little Caesar. He's going to put just a little bit of a bumper tap to Neb, drag race across the line. While Neb held second across the line, Little Caesar's going to dive into turn number 1, and this should give him the position without too much issue. Yep, he's at 48% tire wear right now. PTG Neb is losing ground. He is at 53%, and Neb is almost out of fuel. Caesar has been running a little bit heavier fuel loads throughout the event, though. I think Little Caesar is doing that mainly because he just wants the extra weight in the rear of the car, a little bit of extra stability. Some drivers don't like that, some drivers do. Some drivers are very temperamental on what cars they do or don't want that at, but Little Caesar might just want to have that extra little bit of weight in the rear of the car just to feel the car under him a little bit better. But right now, it looks like it's going to be a fight between SRD Shredder and Dino Prime, and between the two of them on pace, SRD Shredder has been absolutely destroying Dino, not by massive amounts, but a 10th here is enough to eventually bring the house down. These are two lapped cars, maybe Racing and TNR Larry B, who are fighting for positions here. They are the first drivers a lap down right now. And they are both running down SRD Shredder. They're actually putting Shredder under some pressure right now. So Shredder is definitely pushing his own tires a lot deeper into the run than I think he really needs to. But my guess is that he really wants to make sure he can make this a medium soft with no issues. Again, soft, that would be 31 laps and 31 laps. We are looking at about 67 left. If Shredder wants to go soft to the end on only one more stop after this one, he would really be pushing those softs to the limit. But I have to wonder, is that what he's going to try and do? Instead of the medium soft that we've been talking about, is he going to try and do soft, 31 and 31 laps on the soft tires as the anticipated length that you have to go? Dino is 20 seconds back, but again, Dino does not have to make 2 more stops. He only has to make 1 more. Shredder is on track to still make 2 more stops to the end of the race. And again, that's under the assumption that we have this long green flag run last all the way to the end. We could have a yellow flag that ends up bunching the field and eliminating all the strategy. Larry B has completely fell off the back of Maybe Racing at this stage of the event now. 20% left in Maybe, and he has quite a bit of tire life left. Larry is at 52%. He still has some fuel left, but he has pushed the tires a bit too far here. I think Larry's on a strategy similar to Shredder. The big thing, though, is that Larry is a lap down right now. And here comes Shredder into the pits. He's going to be joined by PTG Speed. Speed's already in the pits. Here comes SRD Shredder into the pits. What of Little Caesar? Caesar says, not this time. I'm going to go a lap longer than you this time, Shredder. So he's going to stay on track a little bit longer. I think that Caesar is also going to try and go soft to the end here. And knocking out an extra lap or two now could really help that kind of strategy play out later. He's still at nearly 60% on that right front, but he's got fuel in the car. He can go a little longer if he believes he does. And what about the fight between SRD Shredder and Dino Prime 77 on track? We believe that Dino only has 1 more stop left, but he is not going to be touching these softer, faster tires at all, while SRD Shredder is going to be running the softer, faster tires all the way through. Dino is clear of Maybe. Dino is still clear of Shredder. Shredder still has yet to end up on the racing circuit. And finally, he gets onto the back straightaway, only to be immediately be challenged by the driver who has been looking in his rearview mirror most of the season, Larry. And now here comes Larry into the pits. PTG Little Caesar going to come into the pits as well. And now Dino's going to cycle back into the lead of the event. And now with Dino back into the lead, we look at his fuel and we look at his tires. He's at 45% wear. We are looking right now at it being 63 laps to the end of the race. We anticipate the medium tires can go about 45 laps. You do the math. If Dino is able to go to about lap 123, he should be fine on tires. That might be a big ask, but that might be all that he can do right now. Again, I have to wonder when he pitted earlier, why he pitted so much earlier. I feel like if he went longer on the earlier sense, he would be better off now. But hey, I don't do the strategies. The big thing, though, is that third place is SRD Shredder. who continues to blitz around the circuit here, trying to run down the gap between himself and was currently second place, Maybe Racing. Maybe is on a more aggressive version, I would say, of what Dino's strategy is. I think maybe not more aggressive, maybe less aggressive. Maybe he can likely go a little less far than Dino. But again, maybe we know that he is a master of getting performance out, tires that are dead. We watched in the FEC season finale here at Miami 6 nights ago, where he pushed his tires to 70% wear and only lost about 3 extra seconds by running those extra laps on circuit, and it put him in a position where he had the entire field bar one car a lap down. Now granted, Indy cars handle nothing like NASCARs, but still, we know that maybe as a tire whisperer, if anyone could make a set of tires that anticipate to last only 45 laps, if someone's going to be able to take that 55 or 60 laps, it's going to be this man. It's going to be Maybe right now. 60 laps to go right now, but he only has about 3 laps left to fuel in the tank. So when he pits, he's going to have about 57 laps left. We look at Dino, who currently runs in second in the lead on the track. He's got plenty of fuel. Tire life is the question, but when it comes to fuel, he should have about 13 or so laps left in the tank. You do the math, that would push him out to about 121. That's not quite good enough to comfortably take him to 167, but he is on the right track at least. And again, Dino only has one more stop left, and he has about half a lap over SRD Shredder right now. And Shredder, I think he's on soft. Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure that he is on the soft tires at the moment. Meanwhile, PTG Neb and NFL Racer have found each other on track again. That is Larry, who's a lap down behind them. But NFL and Neb have found each other on the racetrack all over again as they fly down the front straightaway this time. Just about nose to tail. NFL had pitted earlier than Neb earlier in the event, but again, we don't really know where they're tired. And Dino's pitting now. There's still 58 laps left, and Dino's pitting now. I'm guessing he's not willing to push the tires any farther, but if that's the case, then Dino is going to have to make 2 more stops. SRD Shredder, I think, only has to make 1 more stop. So Dino is not able to make the numbers that we were thinking. Shredder is. I think Shredder is going to win this race, and if Shredder runs soft tires all the way to the end, Shredder might be able to put almost everyone outside of the top 3 drivers a lap down with the way this is going here. And even if Dino pits now and he throws on a set of mediums, he's only going to be able to go about 45 laps on them. They only will take you to about lap 155. That's not enough. That's still going to be 12 laps shy. Now, maybe if Dino's going to go soft, and he's already committed to another pit stop, if he's going to go soft, maybe he can make some more positions up, but he does not have anything close to the pace that SRD Shredder does on the soft tire. So I think Dino has given up on trying to run the tires really deep. I think Shredder is going to win this race just off the back of being able to nurse the tires better and have a superior strategy and pace and everything else. And if you have a combination of that, good tire management, good pace, and a relatively good strategy, you're just going to destroy everybody and clean house here. PTG Speed has somehow cycled himself up to 6th on track, back on the lead lap, but just barely. Thing is that he's going to be on track for a long time. Now, these tires that he's on likely aren't going to last him to the end, but he's going to be on track for a really, really long time. Also, our green flag run has gone just about 100 laps. Our record this season has been 110 laps under green flag conditions. I'm curious to see if we can beat that here at Miami tonight. We've already had a bunch of yellow very early on, but we had a single file restart, and since then it's been flying high, wide, and handsome all the way since. All right, NFL Racer still runs right behind PTG Neb. See our leader go by start-finish line there. And here comes the fight for second. Right on board with NFL here. Gets right to that rear bumper, that Nitro Circus number 64. Boy, Neb went deep. NFL really backed off the corner. Neb went in deep. NFL trying to get a run to the inside going into turn number 1. Not going to happen this time. He backs out again early. He's trying to get the number 64 to go a little bit wider. And so that way NFL can back up the corner and try to cross him over on corner exit. This might be the time. He's a little bit better this time. Does he back off early again? He is going to back off early, but he's wide. Oh, is he wide? He missed the ideal line. Now, he does have the draft, so he won't lose touch with PTG Neb. But he is still right there. Bit of a twitch and a slide. Neb holds on to second. NFL Racer continues to run in third. SRD Shredder is only about a third of the straightaway up ahead of them, as he has put PTG Speed a lap down. He's got 40% left in the fuel tank, 24% on the tires. Again, soft tires we anticipate will last 31 laps, so if Shredder can go to about lap 136 on this set of rubber, he should be good. Now, if he wants to throw on a set of medium tires to the end, well, he still has to go about another 5 laps before he could comfortably pit, throw on medium tires, and not pit for the rest of the day. If we end up seeing that be Shredder's strategy, that would kind of really upend everything. But right now, he seems to be working fine. Maybe Shredder is committing to a medium-soft strategy. He doesn't want to push the tires too far, doesn't want to push them over a limit, because Shredder has had not the greatest pace, or just not pace quite on the level that we were anticipating based on earlier. This is Dino, who we thought was in contention for the race win. I think he might still be in a contention for a top 5, but I think race win is completely out of the question for him. Unless there's some strategy or some idea that he has, that he knows of, that none of the rest of us know. We know there are hard tire compounds, and the hard tire compounds ideally should be able to last about 60 to 75 laps, but the fuel tank doesn't go that long, and there's no reason to be on a hard, slow set of tires if the fuel isn't even going to be lasting the entire time. The medium tires last exactly the length of the fuel tank, so I would see no reason why drivers would run the hard tires. So unless Dino is on some kind of crazy strategy that he can figure out that the rest of us can't, I think he's out of contention for this win. I think it's really just going to be a matter of SRD Shredder just not making any mistakes, especially with Dino being held up right now by YOLO Menace, although YOLO finally falls behind Dino. But now we are finally deep enough into this run where we have only 5 cars on the lead lap, and Dino just barely on the lead lap at that. Right now, somehow, PTG Little Caesar has maintained his position. Now, thing is that Caesar's been on a strategy slightly pretty similar to Shredder, where he's going slightly longer on his tires, but he just doesn't seem to have the consistent pace over the runs that Shredder does right now. So I think Little Caesar, if he ends up losing positions and doesn't finish second, is going to just be off the back of not having the pace. And here comes PTG Neb and NFL Racer on PTG Speed. Speed is has already been a lap down for a while. So yeah, a chance that PTG Speed had of catching Neb for third in points seems to be pretty much derailed, unless we have some yellow flags that randomize the grid. But personally, I don't want to see that. I really want to see how the strategy fight plays to the end of the race here. Neb and NFL Racer clear PTG Speed with no issue that time. Gap between Neb and Shredder is only 3 seconds at the moment. We look at the fuel and tire numbers for these drivers. 33.8% for Shredder on his tires, 28% in the fuel tank, so that's about 13 laps left to fuel. For PTG Neb, who runs second, he's got 30% fuel, but a lot more tire wear right now. So I imagine that Neb and Shredder are going to be pitting very close to each other on lap times, as Yellow Menace is going to go ahead and duck into the pits. Also, Dean Speedman has cycled up to 11th right now, but that's really not going to help him in his team's fight. The other thing to remember, the other 2311 driver is TNR Larry B. He is still 8th. Behind PTG Speed. Larry is in a position to lock up second in the Drivers' Championship for himself, which is something we anticipated would happen, but it looks like with the performance of PTG Speed and PTG Neb, we think that the Pendulum Tuning Garage is going to be able to overtake the 2311 team for second in the Teams Championship right now. Again, there is only 3 points between them. That's basically, as long as you're not looking at the top 3, that's basically 2 spots on track, as there are no bonus points that go to that. Also remember, PTG Neb, who wants to try and clip PTG Speed for third in points. The gap was 6 between the two of them coming into today's race. If they finish where they are right now, yes, Neb would steal third in points from PTG Speed as it stands right now. But again, we still have likely another round of pit stops to go, so things could go a lot of different ways here. We're going to go ahead and knock out a Twitch-mandated ad break. We'll be back momentarily here at Homestead, Miami, as we have gone just over 110 laps under green flag conditions here at this 1.5 mile oval. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Homestead Miami Speedway. We're riding on board with Series Champion SRD Shredder, who is leading right now with about 48 laps left in the event here. We also want to say hello to you too, SRD Shredder, as Shredder runs with a special little paint scheme that says hello right there anytime you want to run on the onboard change camera type that is the bonnet cam. Now, if I went ahead and ran on the roof camera, you can still see it, but you can't really see it nearly as well. I don't usually use this camera too much. I prefer the visuals of this camera, but I can't move the camera very much, so I usually stick with the bonnet instead. But it looks like it's going to be SRD Shredder walking off with this. There is an outside possibility that Dino has some sort of strategy trick up his sleeve to deny Shredder a run to the end, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. NFL Racer now pitting out of third position. There are 36 laps in the event, so this is not quite early enough to put on soft tires comfortably to the end. And I think maybe NFL is betting on yellow or something to up in things. But, yeah, NFL might be killing himself, because if he's on the medium tires, he's going to bleed off time. If he's on the soft tires, they're going to die in the last few laps. This could be bad news for NFL. NFL has just not had a great time this season. He's had multiple races get derailed by bad pit stop strategies. He's tried running alternate strategies to try and get ahead of other people on track, and it's just not worked out. He gets the track position, but bleeds so much of it off and keeps running out of fuel or having to pit a lap before the end. It's been one of the main reasons why the IFBA team is buried so far down in points. They've had performance better than what the team's championship says. It's just NFL Racers has not been able to transform those performances into results because he keeps trying to run alternate strategies to go really deep. So SRD Shredder now starting to barrel down on Dino. It is 34 laps left. I think if you wanted to deal with some tire fall off, you could pit now or shortly after this point and be good to the end here. Where'd Shredder go? Oh, that's not Shredder who Dino is about to put a lap down. Who is he trying to put a lap down then? Oh, that is Deedspeed. That is the second time. Well, that would be the third time actually that Deedspeed would go a lap down. Okay, so I do apologize for getting that backwards. So about 33 laps left in the event here. If you pit now, it would be a little rough, but you could take the soft tires all the way to the end. And here comes Shredder into the pits. So he's going to be the first of the top four to blink to try and get on some new soft tires. His rivals are going to be PTG Neb, PTG Little Caesar, and a very distant Dino. Neb is going to pit at the same time as Shredder, but Little Caesar went a lap farther on the last stint, and I think he might go a lap or two farther this stint as well. So if Shredder deals with some significant tire fall off at the very end of this, maybe Caesar has something that can work for him. Again, if it's 31, you want to pit around lap 136. I think Dino's likely going to be pitting at the end of this circuit here, and will likely throw on softs to the end. The other thing is that with all these drivers throwing on soft tires, now, if we get a yellow flag, I imagine most of our leaders would not bother putting on a new set of tires. They'd rather just stick with the ones they have. Okay, Little Caesar only went about a lap and a half farther, or about a lap farther than Shredder this time. So Caesar has a very slight tire advantage over Shredder, but Shredder has track position and overall pace. I don't think it's going to matter. We have ran almost 125 laps now under green flag conditions. We are just burning through the rest of this race right now. Basically, hopefully it stays this way. It's been an inversion. The first Miami race, we had a long green flag run and then a bunch of yellows late. This time, it seems like we're having a bunch of yellows early, and now we are under a very long green flag run. And due to the way everything is cycled out, even if it's only briefly, our top 9 are all on the lead lap right now. Now, it's probably not going to hold to the end of this race, but it's definitely been an interesting event to the end here. And I feel like a lot of these drivers are just trying to time themselves out so they can have good soft tires to the end of the race. They're all preparing for a potential eventuality of having to run soft tires on a restart late in the event. Larry goes a lap down. Thomaso86 comes into the pits. He's going to go a lap down. PTG Speed is going to come into the pits, so he's going to go a lap down as well. But all these drivers who are pitting now will not have to worry about tire fall off to the end. The big problem is that they're just so far behind everyone else, it just doesn't matter. Again, we watched Dino Prime 77. His tires are cooking fast here. He's got about 7 seconds over SRD Shredder, but Shredder does not have to pit to the end of the race. Now, he is going to have to deal with a little bit of tire saving near the very end of the event. But I do think that he's going to be able to walk off with this. PTG Neb is roughly in Shredder's pace and strategy range. He's pitted at basically the same time as Shredder, but Neb is about 7 seconds off. So Shredder looking to try and make it 3 wins over a 12-race season, so basically winning a quarter of the events this year. And a reminder, SRD Shredder has the highest average finish this season of I think he has the highest average finish of everyone this season, and a win here would shoot that up even higher. It's been absolutely absurd what he's been able to do. I think his average finish coming into this race was something like 3.8. I'd have to calculate exactly, but I think his average up to this point of the season was around 3.8 here. He was at 3.75 before Daytona. So yeah, I'll probably calculate the exact later, but Shredder has been on a absolute monstrous tear this entire season. When a bad race at Watkins Glen is a 3rd place finish, he really kind of sells home the kind of season that he's been having. And here comes Dino into the pits with 27 laps to go. So Dino is going to pit with 27 to go. He will have to worry not a lick about tire fall off, but he is going to be so far behind everyone else. And now SRD Shredder goes to the lead here. Shredder will have to be a little careful with his rubber, but he should be fine. Maybe Racing has cycled up into the 2nd spot right now, but he is going to have to pit in about the next 3 to 4 laps here. His tires are cooking. He's almost out of fuel, so maybe he has timed the strategies off a little bit, and he is going to plummet down the order. Interesting enough, in the fight between NFL Racer and PTG Neb, right now, NFL runs ahead of Neb on track, and he has the tires and the fuel to go to the end, so NFL might be able to steal an unexpected podium near the end of this race today. And PTG Little Caesar runs in 5th. He has a slight tire advantage over SRD Shredder, but he is way off on pace and a full half lap behind right now. And this is Dino Prime 77, who's just come out of the pit lane, just ahead of SRD Shredder. If he wants to try and win this race, he needs to give Shredder the worst aero block possible or start putting on some incredible laps and just destroying Shredder in lap time right now. Still, assuming that he is on softs to the end, he should be good. If he put on mediums, which would be a horrible idea, but if he put on mediums, he's almost guaranteed to go a lap down because he just won't have the pace to stay ahead of SRD Shredder, your champion. And here comes Maybe Racing into the pits for what should be his final time. This will likely cycle Maybe Racing off of the lead lap, likely back to about the 7th position we are anticipating. PTG Speed runs just barely ahead of Larry B on track. That's just not enough for Speed to steal 2nd in Drivers' Championship. And as it stands right now, if it was just Speed versus Larry's team, 2311, would still take 2nd in teams points, but Neb is on that team as well. So he should be able to put the Pendulum Tuning Garage team into 2nd as long as he can bring it home to a top 3 result. The other thing as well is that Neb is likely going to be able to steal 3rd place in points back from PTG Speed based on how the rest of this race is going. The interesting thing will be if Neb catches NFL Racer, that's going to be another 4 points in Neb's favor, and that could put Neb just on the edge of being able to lick Larry for 2nd. Again, I don't think it's going to happen, but it is in the cards as a possibility. So Dino continues to run in 5th position as he tries to navigate his way around HYR Melanie, trying to keep that car behind. He wants to stay on the lead lap if he has any chance of doing anything against SRD Shredder. He cannot afford to go a lap down now. We look at Shredder. With 21 laps left, he is at 20% tire life. So at the rate he is going, he's going to be at about 60 to 65% tire life at the end. He'll be hurting, but he should have enough of an advantage. I think Shredder has got this race won as long as there's not a late race yellow. And even if there's a late race yellow, he may still have it won then as well. 20 laps left here at Homestead, Miami. We're going to go ahead and knock out our last ad break. When we come back, assuming there are no more yellows, we will stay with this race to the checkered flag as we are under our biggest and longest green flag run here at the end of the season here at Homestead, Miami. We'll be back shortly here. That was not good. Well, that's over. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Homestead, Miami. Your eyes do not deceive you. Dino has gone a lap down. SRD Shredder on the lead lap. He has put everyone except the top 4 a lap down. Now, we do anticipate that Shredder's going to have some tire fault, but he has a 5-second advantage over NFL Racer right now. NFL is at 38% tire life right now. SRD Shredder is currently at 30%. So NFL is going to be dealing with tire fall off faster than Shredder will. He should be able to make it to the end, but it's going to be hard. Neb is at 33%. Remember, Neb pitted at the same time as Shredder, but he's been burning through his tires a little worse. But Neb should be able to finish on the lead lap, barring anything crazy happening. Lil Caesar is a little bit more than half the lap down. He is running a strategy similar to Shredder. He's a little bit better on tire management, but he is about half a lap down. However, I think Lil Caesar has just enough pace that the top 4 we see on track right now will be the top 4 at the end of this event, barring something absolutely crazy happening here. It's just going to be a question of the ordering. NFL Racer, I think, is going to be able to limp it home. His tires are going to be hurting, but he's going to be able to limp it home probably to the end on his old set of tires. I think he might fall to 3rd. 4th, I think, is going to be secure against him. Lil Caesar is has been faster, but I think the gap is going to be too big. I think Neb, as long as nothing goes wrong, I think Neb could cycle up into a 2nd place finish here. I think he's too far back to catch Shredder once Shredder's tires start really falling off in the last 4 laps here. Now Dino's kind of got a bit of an advantage back on SRD Shredder. Now he's putting the pressure back on the 10 car. But again, even if Dino gets back by Shredder, he's only going to be in a position to come home in 5th at best. Lil Caesar is still about half a lap, well, closer to only 40% of a lap ahead of Dino right now. And Lil Caesar has shown no signs of having significant tire fall off near the end of this run. Another driver coming in the pits. This is VER AJ5 Gamer, who has gone into the dirt, and he's wide. He keeps it off the track just barely. Hopefully that's not going to be a yellow. Definitely fishing for a caution here near the end. That will punt AJ likely out of the top 10. As we watch Dino continue to put pressure on SRD Shredder, he needs Shredder to have something go wrong, but with only 11 laps to go here, I just don't see that happening under any circumstances. Dino looks to the inside of that number 10. The 10 washes just a little bit high, but he's able to hold station. Again, right now, Dino would have to get by Shredder and then turn laps about 2.5 seconds a lap faster from now to the end to be able to catch Shredder at the end. That's just not happening, not unless Shredder has an instant and gets shunted into the wall. So D-Speedman is now cycled up to 10th on track. PTG Speed still runs just 1 position ahead of Larry on track. Maybe Racing is in 6th spot, but maybe should be good on tires to the end here. Maybe is likely going to lock up a 6th place finish. The biggest wild card is going to be NFL right now. We know that Shredder's going to have a bit of tire fall, but NFL is just on the edge of burning through the rest of his tires. Also, he's only got about 10 laps of fuel left. Wait, is he going to run out of fuel at the end again? Coming to the line, let's check how much fuel he's burning a lap. 19.6 at the line there. He'll make it. It'll be close, but I think NFL will make it on fuel. Tires are going to be a different issue. But he has been gradually pulling on PTG Neb. Neb just doesn't seem to have quite the pace as his tires start falling off. He also is working with a bit of engine damage. So NFL might be able to secure a freak second place finish here at the end of the season. He is a little close on fuel, and we'll keep an eye on that, but it does look like it's over. Dino still runs right behind SRD Shredder, continuing to put that number 10 car under pressure just so he can try and finish on the lead lap, but it's just not happening right now. This is about the point that we anticipate to see NFL racers start bleeding off time, and we think Shredder will start bleeding off time in about 3 laps here. Is Shredder going to make it on fuel? He's at 13%. How much is he at the line? 12.6 at the line. Well, he's burning about 1.9% a lap. You do the math, you got 4 laps left. He'll make it. Well, he got 5 laps left, actually. 9.5, he'll make it. Not going to be the greatest run to the end, but he'll make it. Dino still can't get around Shredder. If anything, Dino, I think, has burned up his own tires running in Shredder's draft. Yeah, that's just not happening. NFL racer now beginning to bleed off time as we anticipated he would, as his tires have gone into the yellow. He'll make it on fuel for sure. It's getting a little close for Shredder. I think he'll make it, but he's going to be coming across the line on fumes. Although with his tires falling off, that means he'll probably have to get off the gas a little earlier. So that will probably work for him. PTG Neb is about 3 seconds and a bit behind NFL Racer with 3 laps to go. So if he can close on the NFL by a second lap, he will still be able to steal second here for the final race of the season. Basically every other position has basically been locked up. It's really the question about second place. The gap is now less than 3 seconds, but it's 2 laps to go. Also, this green flag run to the end is gone for over 150 laps. So the longest green flag run of the season is the one that will close off the year. And yeah, there's nothing that Dino can do to catch Shredder. Dino's burned off his tires behind that number 10 car. Coming to the white flag one more time around here. NFL Racer, I think, is going to just barely be able to limp this thing around here. As long as he doesn't shove it into the wall. He's got the fuel. Oh, but here comes Neb. Neb is closing the gap down. It's now down to a 1.5 seconds. This is the final lap. Can Neb nip NFL for second at the line? That might be all that Neb needs to steal second in the point. No, he hits the wall now. I think that's going to be enough. Here comes SRD Shredder. Across the line, he spins himself out. So I think that will give Dino technically a lead lap finish. NFL Racer, it's been a rough season. A season of botched strategies, but finally one of these strategies work out, and he will come home second. PTG Neb will be third. PTG Little Caesar will be a much more distant fourth. Dino will come across the line in fifth. And then Maybe Racing is nearly an entire lap behind Dino. And Dino will be, Maybe will be sixth. PTG Speed is going to be 7th. Larry will be 8th. That's going to make things a little bit interesting. But our leaders have all crossed the line, and SRD Shredder, your series champion, will also win his 3rd race of the season, the last race of the season. He didn't win the pole, but he got the victory. We're going to knock out an ad break, and when we come back, we're going to try and interview our top finishers in both the Drivers' Championship and the race here at Homestead Miami Speedway. All right. Hello, Lil C. Can you hear me? All right. In the Xbox party, go ahead and include your audio if you can. All right, so I'm going to wait and see just a bit if anyone else is going to jump in here. Oh, no, here it comes. Now everyone else is starting to show up. All right. If it's only the three of us, that'd be a bit of a shame, but not too bad. I am limited on time. I have to get to another broadcast in about 20 minutes. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to Homestead Miami Speedway. The PTG NASCAR season is over, and your series champion, SRD Shredder, goes ahead and puts his knee on the neck of the rest of the field, winning a quarter of the races of the season, including the last race. SRD Shredder, go ahead and include your audio. What do you have to say about your incredible run out there today? Shredder, can you hear me? Shredder. Why does this always happen? I don't understand this. No. All right, can you hear me? No, you cannot. Nope, it's turbo fucked. Ah, fuck's sake. Can you hear me? Shredder, can you hear me? I don't hear you. All right, I hear you now. I hear you now.
Yeah.
All right, make it fast because I don't have a lot of time. You're champion. You won the race. What do you have to say about your run out there today?
I mean, as I said in the first race, if there's no cautions or tomfoolery, I can get the thing done. I've got superior tire saving strats over pretty much everyone, and I've got really good pace as well. Didn't have that much issue with lappers, so got around everyone. Just had Dino following me, just being a nuisance right at the end.
All right, you put nearly the entirety of the field down a lap today in that long 150 lap run. But this series is over. Congratulations. I have to ask, what other Forza series are we likely to see you run in over the next few weeks and months?
I mean, the touring car one PTG is about to start, but it's probably the only one I'm going for at the moment because just keeping it simple for what I'm going to try and achieve.
All right, thanks for jumping in, talking with us, Shredder. And because Xbox parties are so bad, I'm going to have to ask, please step out if you can. Yeah. All right, coming into the party now is NFL Racer. NFL, finally, one of these wild strategies work out in your favor, and you come home second. Nice end to a very chaotic season. Go ahead and include your audio. What do you have to say about your run out there today?
Yeah, it was a wild race. Got involved in the early cautions, which shuffled me back off the front row, which was a bit disappointing, but just a lot of patience and uh, a lot of good moves. Really got to give Neb a lot of credit. He and I worked great as drafting buddies, and he saved me a lot of fuel to make that strategy work there towards the end. So I've got to give him a lot of credit. And then after after that last pit stop, it was just absolute lock in and crank out fantastic laps to try and make that gap, extend that gap as much as I could, and I made it work. So P2 is fantastic, and I will gladly take that.
All right, now one last question. What other Forza events can we anticipate to see you in over the next few weeks and months now with this series over?
As Shredder alluded to, I'm probably going to take part in some of the PTG touring car season when that comes up. But between then, I will actually be hosting a Spec Series Lancia Delta duel event, as we're calling it, for the next 4 or 5 weeks, starting next weekend around 8 p.m. Eastern. So it'll be my first time hosting stuff, so I'm probably gonna make mistakes, but I'm looking forward to hosting my first series with IFA. I've got a great cast of people helping me, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's a shame I'm not going to be able to join you, at least not for the first weekend. I'll be in another state. But that is one of my favorite cars in the game, and I always love anything Lancia. But hopefully that works out well for you. Thanks for jumping in and talking with this NFL, and good job on ending your season on a high note.
Yeah, and once again, thank you to Alan and everybody else who helped organize this series. That was probably the best NASCAR season I've had. So thank you to everyone.
Mm-hmm. All right, now we really quickly want to talk with the third place finisher, PTG Neb. Neb, go ahead, include your audio. Interesting day today. You came home with a pole position and the overall third place. This should be enough to secure you third in points. What do you have to say about your run out there today? Neb, can you hear me? Oh, no, not again. Are you serious?